Welcome back to the Twinkle Star podcast. My name is Cosmin, and in this episode, we will approach the C1 Advanced exam. The CAE level is a rather complicated and pretentious one. It is your dive into the world of academic and business English, with a bigger focus on the formal tone and a richer and more elevated vocabulary than ever before. This level puts a focus on your lexical and grammatical resources and the efficiency of your discourse. So, throwing in a couple of fancy words here and there is no longer enough to impress. It is about how well you use the language on the whole, how close you can get to the level of an advanced English speaker. This level is quite a departure from the FCE one and its predecessors, and it may be tougher to comprehend at first. But I am sure that after this podcast, you will get a feel of how to approach the C1 speaking exam in a tasteful manner. Now, Ștefan and Georgiana, welcome back.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, now I'd like to know something about you. Georgiana, where are you from?
I am from Iași, Romania, a city in northwestern part of Romania, I will say, and the second biggest city after the capital, Bucharest.
Okay, great. How long have you lived here?
I've been living here since I was born in 2003.
And what do you do?
I am a student.
And what do you enjoy most about your English course?
I will say the teacher that try to make classes more entertaining and to be more understanding with us, because we are new generation that has other needs than the previous ones, and teachers try to adapt their teaching, their methodology, so that we can comprehend our information from the class.
Great. Now, Ștefan, it's your turn. Where are you from?
I'm from Iași, Romania as well. It's a very beautiful city and I'm very proud to live in it.
All right. And what do you do?
I'm a student.
And what do you enjoy most about your course?
I enjoy that there's a lot of interaction and you're capable to learn new things, and you also have fun while learning something new every time, and every new course, every new session is a huge and unique experience.
Okay, cool. Now, Georgiana, tell me about a special meal that you recently had.
A special meal, I will say it was yesterday. It was my brother's birthday, so me and my mom baked some brownies and I baked them myself. And we also made, with the help of my brother, a homemade bird cake. But for food we ordered some pizza because it was too much food to make and our oven couldn't keep up with the amount of the times we use it, so we ordered pizza and make the dessert at home.
Interesting. Now, Ștefan, how do you feel about extreme sports?
I don't like them because I feel that I'm not made for such experiences. I like to stick on land, and I don't really like the adrenaline that is caused by these events, so I prefer not to do them.
Understandable. Now, what would be your ideal job, Ștefan?
My ideal job. I think I would work as a lawyer or as an analyst at FBI, because I like to discover a lot of things about the world, and I like to analyze so many things, and I like to use my skills related to psychology and understanding people in order to find the truth behind the many hidden things of the world.
Interesting answer. Now, in this part of the test, I'm going to give each of you 3 pictures. I'd like you to talk about 2 of them on your own for about a minute, and also answer a question briefly about your partner's pictures. Okay? Now, Georgiana, it's your turn. Here are your pictures. They show people who need some help. I'd like you to compare 2 of the pictures and say what you think has happened in each case and how the people might be feeling. Okay? You have about a minute, starting right now.
In the first picture, I can see a man calling a mechanic because his engine wouldn't start, I suppose. I think he feels frustrated because he might be late for work and wants some help immediately to fix his car because it's his only way to transporting. But in the second picture, there's something similar, also with technology. A girl doesn't know how to use a certain program and needs the help of a supervisor or someone good at this program to help her, because also she's also frustrated because she can't work with it and doesn't work on her computer, I suppose. And this program that she has difficulties with is used to work, is used for a part of her time, and she needs to maybe do some assignments that are due to a day sooner than she expected, and she is really frustrated and it doesn't know how to manage this time.
Okay, thank you. Now, Ștefan, which person do you think needs the most help?
I definitely think that the one with the car needs the most help because, well, with technology you kinda know what to do and it's pretty easy to fix, and with clothes too, because if you don't find the right size of clothes, you can just try to find something else. But with cars are different because they are vital to us, and as we all know, with severe...
Okay, now Ștefan, it's your turn. So here are your pictures. They show people listening to music. I'd like you to compare two of the pictures and say what kind of music the people are listening to and how the music might affect the way they feel. You have about a minute starting right now.
Okay, so in the first picture there are lots of people who are probably listening to rock music because I see that most of them are dressed like having this sort of like in this sort of music. There's a big stage and I think there's a band singing and everyone is enjoying, and I think they listen to this kind of music because they like the sound of it and they really feel like it produces what they need, some adrenaline. In the second picture there's probably a restaurant and there's a guy who is singing at the piano, and I think people listen to such music because it makes them feel relaxed and...
Okay, thank you. Now, in the next... As you can see, while both of the candidates had interesting answers, Georgiana stood out more in the lexical resource department, using some occasional less common lexes with a good degree of control. And she has also focused well on the questions and comparisons required to thoroughly answer part 2 of the exam. Whereas Ștefan has used more regular, day-to-day vocabulary and occasional slang such as kinda, and has had a tougher time answering the requirements for part 2, using around 40 seconds for the first picture and 20 seconds for the second picture, and not answering the questions nor comparing the pictures in any way. Now, let's move on to the next part, shall we? So I'd like you to talk about something together for about 2 minutes. Here are some things people consider when choosing to live in a rural area, and I have a question for you to discuss. First, you'll have some time to look at the task. Okay, now talk to each other about how important these considerations are when choosing to move to a rural area. You have 2 minutes starting right now.
Well, I will say there are many work opportunities in the rural area because there are more. People focus more on growing stock, maybe animal stock and grains and vegetables, but I think the leisure opportunities are something that is due considering because the time goes slowly in the rural areas and you can enjoy the life. Do you have another opinion, Steven?
I think you're right, and I think that living in a rural area makes your life easier because you simply enjoy the scenery and you have many opportunities to relax, such as I said, you can relax by growing stock or by simply staying in the garden and enjoying the breeze of the air. But I also think transport is vital for rural area because rural areas are often some small areas and it's pretty easy to travel between one point of the area and another. And so you can cover most of the distance by foot. What do you think?
Well, you had a good argument. You have a good point of view. But what about the transport between the nearest town and the village? It's really complicated. You need to take at least one bus or a train or a train ride. So it is really tiring sometimes, and many people don't choose transport when thinking about moving to a rural area. They are mostly think of a community to reattach themselves to, because rural areas, everyone knows everybody.
Okay, thank you. Now, here's one more thing. You have about a minute to decide which of these things can affect life in a rural area the most. You have about a minute starting right now.
What affects the living in rural areas so much is the sense of community, because everyone knows everyone, as I said before, and is something mostly of a bond. If you lose someone in the village, everyone will cry and will pity the family of the dead one. What do you think, Stephen?
Well, I think you're right, and as I said, there are small communities in rural areas, and so you get to know everyone and you get to make friends easier, and you also have many opportunities to relax yourselves. And as you know, the communal parties or any sorts of activities that are done in a group, and so you find many people to talk with and discover more about themselves and about you. So yes, I think this is one of the most important things to be considered.
As you can see, while Ștefan has once more decided to take his time, and his partners, during this speaking part, his interaction with Georgiana was natural and logical. While there were some occasional time management errors on his part, and some grammatical errors on Georgiana's part, the conversation was adequate. Not exactly C1 advanced level, but adequate. Georgiana was in quite a bit of a rush to get her ideas out, which might have caused some of the grammatical slips she has displayed. However, Ștefan has put on some less common lexes such as vital, growing stock, and many others with a good degree of control. With that being said, practice makes perfect, especially when it comes to the CAE speaking exam. Make sure to practice using the trainer and to keep a vocabulary bank where you write down interesting, fancy idioms and words, and you shall conquer this exam as well. Is there anything else you'd like to see? Tell us in the comments, and we'll see you next time.